Can the Oklahoma Sooners find a breakout against Maine?
You are Locked On Sooners, your daily podcast on the Oklahoma Sooners. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
What's up, Sooner Nation? Welcome to Locked On Sooners, and thank you for making Locked On Sooners your first listen every single day. Shout out to all the everydayers out there. Thank you for subscribing to the show wherever you get your podcasts. We're part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. Today's episode is brought to you by FanDuel. You can start the season with a big return on FanDuel. New customers can place a $5 bet, and you'll get started with $150 in bonus bets if you win your first $5 bet. Visit FanDuel.com to get started. Joining me today, welcome back to Jay Smith. Bain was filling in for him yesterday's show. Make sure you go check out that. It was fantastic content from the League of Shadow leader, Bain. So Jay, what are you looking to see from the Oklahoma Sooners offense against the Maine Black Bears this weekend?
I've got about three things that's on my mind. The first thing is I want to see cohesion at the offensive line, including seeing some of the young players go out there and push some people around. I'm ready to see if they're ready to play. It's that we're at the point now where it's probably in our best interest to go ahead and start playing the young guys and getting them ramped up so we can prepare and feel better. Hopefully, if we make a bowl game and then we can look towards next season, I'm ready to see them start to maul some folks and show us that they can do it. Second thing is I'm ready to see some competence from the wide receiver room. I need these guys to go out there, not only get their routes, not only get their blocking done, but also create space and get open. Start thinking more out there of, okay, how do I make it easier for my quarterback, especially if there's a chance that my quarterback can't see me, right? You're smaller guys. It's hard to see you when you had giant offensive linemen. Just keep that in mind. So I need to see that moving around. The last thing though, John, I want to see Kaleb Hicks and I want to see Taylor Tatum. Can they handle going out there for 30 snaps apiece at minimum? Can they handle doing a full workload? I'm ready to see if they're the guys that are ready to go out there and play and see if they're the guys that are ready to go out there and contribute.
Yeah, for Taylor Tatum, this is a great opportunity to get him a lot of snaps. He's been good and he's been productive at times. He still has to work on that pass blocking, still has to work on some ball security stuff, but just give him some run. Give him 15 touches in this game, because you have the opportunity to do so. You're not going to completely sit Javonte Barnes. You're going to play him because he's been one of the best parts of your offense over the last few weeks. But give Taylor Tatum a heavy workload in this one. That would really benefit him, because the best way to learn a lot of times is by doing and messing up and figuring out where you messed up and going and fixing it in the game, not just going back on film study the next day, going in the game and being able to fix it. So I like the idea of seeing these young guys play a lot. Man, yeah, it's time for production from the wide receiver group. And I don't care how fast you are anymore. I don't care how many stars you had by your name. I don't care what the potential is. Produce. Any of that. If you can't produce against Maine, then there's going to be some struggles. It's struggle bus time. Same with the offensive line. Like, if you cannot create positive yardage on a number of occasions, really on a regular basis, and you cannot help the Oklahoma Sooners drive the ball down the field, if you cannot pass protect against Maine, we got bigger problems and we got bigger fish to fry. So it's time to go and be Oklahoma. This is a game that you should win and should win handily. And that's kind of what I'm looking for. I'm looking for this team to jump out to a big lead in this one, because if you don't, things can get really interesting really quickly if you let a Maine team hang around. Listen, I'm not sitting here saying that they're North Dakota State or South Dakota State. Any one of them.
They're not chopped liver.
No, they're not. They're not terrible. They're not the best team in FCS, but they can beat you if you're not careful. And if you're going to this game taking them lightly, they've got some talent. But Oklahoma should go in, and you said the words correctly, maul. Offensive line should maul them. They should maul the Black Bears. I don't know if that was intentional, but I like the pun, and I'm going to roll with it.
Roll with it, baby. Because that is just true. That's 100% true. You're right, because it's okay to make mistakes. That's the one thing I want them to understand, right? I want the players to understand that. Fans listening, I want you to understand that. It's okay for your young players to make mistakes. These are the games you can make those mistakes, and it's not detrimental to you. That's the reason why the spread is 34.5 right now, and it's probably risen up higher. I know on FanDuel, it's still available. If you got access to FanDuel, you better go ahead and play it now, because I know by Friday or Saturday that line will not be available because it's flying up so much. That's the expectation. So if you know that the margin of error is a lot wider than you would normally expect, and you can make some errors and still make up for it, Take advantage of it. Figure it out, because right now, and you said it perfectly, John, but I'm going to add to what you said. You can now get this on tape. Then you can review the tape and understand where those mistakes come from. You can look at this play and be like, oh, I remember this play. This is what I was thinking about. Was my thinking right or wrong? So this is your opportunity, especially when you think about the blocking schemes and the way that Maine's going to come at you. They're going to play the ratio game. They're going to look at the numbers and they're going to come at you in that capacity. They're not going to go out there and try to outpower you. They're going to try to outnumber you. They're going to say, if they see that they understand your block scheme is going to go this direction, they're going to bring about 2 dudes on the opposite side and try to blitz through. Not going to try to run up the middle on you and try to run you guys over, because they understand there's a big size difference in between the two. So they're going to leverage ratios and come at you with more numbers than you have blockers. That's going to be their goal. So if that's the case, I need to see if someone's intelligent enough to chip a blocker at a running back, chip them, and then flare out to where your quarterback can dump it quickly because they know that the blitz is there, right? I need to see that people are prepared to handle all the different things that the Maine Black Bears are going to throw at you. So, as you said, John, this is the opportunity to put stuff on tape. So, Brent Venables, Zach Alley, Joe John Finley, Kevin Johns right now, Emmett Jones, as you go down the coaching list, they can look at it and say, all right, guys, these are the things we need to work on together. These are the things we need to tighten up, because no matter what, 2025 is now in front of us. We are at November 1st. Halloween was yesterday. We are now, I see Christmas coming up. I see Thanksgiving, in which we always skip it. Mariah Carey has thawed out. So now we're going to see Christmas songs moving forward. So keep that in mind. We are past it. Next year's here. You start focus on it.
And I'm going to argue with myself, and I'm going to argue with you actually for a second here too, because we're also going into game 9. So
that is true. That is true.
There's not really much reason for mental mistakes if you've played 5 or 6 games of this season or more. If you're a Eugene Brooks or EPL, and I mean, for EPL, Eddie Pierre-Louis, you're getting your second game action. Eugene Brooks, you're getting your first. Isaiah Autry-Dent, you're getting your first. Logan Howland, this is going to be your second really extensive bit of action. Okay, I'll give you a little bit of grace. Zion Raggins, no, dude, you've been playing a lot. It's time for you to go out there and do something. Zion Kearney, same. Ivan Carrion, you've had some chances to get in the game. They've thrown you some balls. Now's the time to go and contribute a little bit. Bauer Sharp, dude, you have no more room for mental mistakes. You have no more room for blocking mishaps. You've got to go out there and you got to be a leader and you got to produce. So as much as I want to say, hey, you can afford to you can learn from this. You got to play the young guys so they can get that experience and learn from it. For a lot of those young guys, they've been playing a lot. And so now's the time for them to go and put everything that they've learned in the previous 8 games and put it on the field in this one against a team that you should be way better than.
Yes.
Ryan Raggins should have no problem getting open in this game against the Maine Black Bears. And so I need to see that dude go catch 3 or 4 balls and actually do something with it, because just being on the field and just having speed, if it doesn't do anything for you, it doesn't do anything. Same with a guy like Brendan Thompson. Having speed's great, but if you're not getting the ball, then what's your speed for? It's not doing anything. JJ Hester, same thing. Quit fighting with the ball so much and go catch it and produce something. Be a consistent, reliable target for the Oklahoma Sooners quarterbacks, because the speed's there, the height's there, the size is there. Put it all together against this team, please.
Yeah, that's what we need to do. We just need to see it all come together. We need to see some blocking. We need to see some guys going out there and creating the space. Again, wide receiver room, I want to see y'all create space. I want to see y'all get open. I want y'all to see and understand how spacing works in zones, in certain defenses, and knowing where to find that hole and actually playing all the way through the play. That's something that you see with just players in general. Some players will play all the way until the whistle is blown. Some players will kind of stop and be like, the ball's not coming out of direction. I may as well stop. No, play all the way through. Because in the situation, if your quarterback's scrambling, and if you can stop and you can cut back across and take the right angle, he can throw it to you and you're going to be open. Take advantage of that. This is the opportunity to put that, like I said, that stuff on tape so you can review it going into next season.
And also, Jacob Jordan's had 110 snaps in the last 2 games. Give him a bunch more snaps. Just keep feeding him.
Force feed him. Yeah, feed him.
Feeding him snaps, feed him targets, because he's producing when you give him opportunities. So give me more Jacob Jordan in this one. What do we need to see from the defense against the Maine Black Bears? We'll tell you coming up next here on Locked On Sooners.
Our friends over there at 5 Hour Energy know it's being a passionate football fan isn't just a hobby. It's a way of life. It takes a lot of energy to power through all-day tailgates, touchdown celebrations, or agonizing second overtimes, which is why they're creating the Stand the Fan 5-Hour Energy Shot. With a special flavor called Fan Fuel, the energy shot made just for super fans like us, the fans who are first in the parking lot and who are last to leave. We see you. So, you know what else gives me a bit of Sooner fan fuel this week? That moment's when Taylor Tatum takes the ball 80 yards for a touchdown. Or Brennan Thompson catches a ball deep for 50-plus yards. J.J. Hester, catches something across the middle and takes it all the way. Heck, give me a defensive Michael Boganowski fumble with a Reggie Powers pickup fumble for a touchdown. 5 Hour Energy knows that no matter what team you root for, being a fan requires heart, soul, and a whole lot of energy. Whether you're prepping for the big tailgate or ironing your jersey, for your game day to-do list is always a mile long. That's why the limited edition Stand the Fan 5-Hour Energy Shot is here to help fuel you throughout the season. What's your fan fuel this week? Whatever it is, do it with 5 Hour Energy. Available on 5hourenergy.com, shipped nationwide. And we've got home field apparel, folks. Look, so as y'all can see, I'm rocking my favorite home field apparel hoodie. They've got some great gear for each and every one of you. They've got the vintage stuff, so you know home field. We've been showing you off all year. Check them out. Go to homefieldapparel.com. Use our code Sooner24 to get a nice percentage off some of the gear they have. Plus, they have these awesome boxes, and in the boxes, you'll get 3 different unique, never-before-seen shirts. And if you get the Platinum box, you'll also get a koozie, you'll get a hat, and you'll get the Platinum Pass, 20% off, and you'll get notified when the new drops come before everybody else. That way, you don't miss out whenever they are sold out. Helps you out a lot. And so they're going to outfit you this entire season. So go check them out. Go to homefieldapparel.com. Make sure you use our code Sooner24 for an awesome discount so that you can be decked out in gear the rest of the season.
Again, thanks for making Locked On Sooners your first listen every single day. Shout out to all the everydayers out there. Tune in, subscribe to the show wherever you get your podcast. Defensively, Jay, what's top of mind for you against Maine?
Top of mind is more young boys, right? So Brent Venables talked about the 3 young safeties that we have, Reggie Powers, the third, Jaden Hardy, as well as Baba Yaga, Michael Boganowski. I want to see them out there hitting some folks. Give me the young guys. Plus linebackers. I want to see some of the young linebackers. Give me some James Nesta. Mix in some Lewis Carter. Heck, if Phil Pachotti's able to play, throw him out there. Him and Samuel Masigo. We're all past the red shirt point with some of them. So let's see how they can handle the defense and how they can call things out. Defensive line. I would love to see more PJ Adebaware. I want to see him next to David Stone. Throw out there a little Nigel Smith. Give me some Daniel Koye. I want to see more of the younger players out there on the defense because I want to see if they're ready to handle the calls and be able to run the defense. I need our main guys to be healthy. So, no pun intended with the main thing. But at the same time, we've got Missouri coming up the following week. So this is a great opportunity for those guys to get in, get a little warm, but then pass down to young guys, and the young guys show us what they're made of. And I think they can do it. The big thing is like we talked about with offense, we need this on film. That way, when you're going back in the office and the coach is saying, now let's look at how you did on this play. This was the call. This is what the offense did. Did you pay attention in film study? It looks like it or it did not look like it. I want to be able to have those conversations. That way, whenever we're prepping for 2025 later on, they have something to reference back to. What are you looking for?
Well, I think you're right, man. I think it's a good opportunity to get a guy like Makari Vickers a lot more snaps. Give him a healthy dose of snaps to see if he can improve upon some of the things he hasn't necessarily done well so far this season. I think you've seen enough Jaden Jackson that you don't necessarily need to throw him out there for a full compliment. He's running with your ones for a good reason because he's really, really stinking good. He's held up against SEC competition. So if you want to give him a couple series, give him a quarter, and then give him a break, I'm cool with that. You can let him chill. He's done a great job so far in his true freshman season. So yeah, I want to see more Marcus Strong, more Ashton Sanders. Those are guys that can still be big time contributors to your defensive tackle rotation down the road. Dejon Terry, he won't be here next year. And then you got one more year with Grayson Halton. You're going to need to continue to develop those guys. And hopefully make them a part of that rotation next year and the year beyond. Again, because you're going to need that depth. We're seeing this year how impactful having a good rotation of defensive tackles can benefit you. Oklahoma is really, really good against the run. They're generating a little bit of pressure on the pass rush. So continue to develop those guys. I'm with you, man. Nigel Smith, Danny Okoye. But ultimately what I want to see is start to finish, whistle to whistle domination. I want to see Oklahoma's defense go out, play 4 quarters of dominating football that does not give Maine any chance and doesn't give them any life in this game. No long drives, no big plays, no coverage busts, nothing. Do the remember the Titans thing. Don't let them gain 1 yard or I'm pulling all of you out. Hey, none of it. You will blitz all night.
I mean, that's what we need. We need them to go out there and put the pressure on them. I want Maine to feel like we were in their practice all week. Mm-hmm. I want these young defenders to show us that they can make other teams feel that way. I want them to intimidate. I want them to go hit people. And the whole point of that is, again, we need this on tape because it's so much easier to teach to something once you're out there, because you could ask questions of why did you do this? The play was this. You moved here. Promise you, those young dudes can recollect every single one of those plays afterwards. They just like, okay, so this is what I did. Well, I was looking at this. I saw this. I thought this. This is why I shifted that direction. And you can have that conversation. That's the most important thing for us going forward. So that's what I want to see, John. I want to see that portion of it. When I'm looking at, though, in the secondary, we're pretty banged up. You think it's time to start pulling out some of the freshmen there too? Because at the corner is the only position that scares me when it comes to playing young guys. And the reason is they're on an island.
Yeah, it's a tough place to play.
Personal opinion, corner is the hardest position to play in football. And I say that because you don't know if it's a pass or a run. And if the play busts, you're chasing a dude nonstop. You have no clue where he's going. That's all you're doing, right? Yeah. Quarterback's a lot of thinking, but you have an idea of what the play is. You can think through. You have an idea to process things fast. Offensive line's tough because you have to go backwards while the defensive line is going forward. So you got to figure out how to move around. But with corner, you don't know what's going on. Yeah. You're 100% guessing in hopes that's because and nobody else can really help you as much as you would like unless you're going in cover 2 or cover 3. But a lot of times it's typically a cover 1. And so you've got maybe one dude back there. It's you on an island a lot of the times. It's tough. So I'm wondering if it makes sense to throw the young corners out there too, or if we should go ahead and preserve them for practice.
Dude, I don't see any reason why not play Jeremiah Newcomb a bunch in this game.
That's fair.
Like, give me him. Eli Bowen has stood out. He's shown that he can hold up against SEC competition. Maine is not SEC competition, so there's no reason why you shouldn't be able to throw a Jeremiah Newcomb out there and get him some significant run. As far as other young cornerbacks, man, I mean, Jacoby Johnson, you gotta see him play. I want to see him play more. It's just not a group that right now has gotten a ton of playing time because you've relied upon, the Des Malones and the Kenai Walkers. I think you still play a bunch of Kenai Walker, but I mean, give me some Jeremiah Newcomb, man. Let me see him in this game. He's played 2 games so far this season. Let me see some Devin Jordan. He's only played in 3 games. Let me see some of these young guys get an opportunity and see if they can hold up a little bit better and be more consistent. The only way you're going to find out is by playing him. The only way they found out that Eli Bowen could hold up is by playing him. I mean, yes, he probably showed out in practice, but practice doesn't always translate to the field on Saturdays. But he showed up and he showed out and he was consistent and confident and doing the right things and making the tackles when they were there to be made. Let's see if Jeremiah Newcomb can be an answer for you in your cornerback rotation. So, it's time to play the young guys at corner and figure out, can they help you down the stretch, or are we still working on developing for 2025 and beyond?
Yeah, we need to go ahead. It's all about now future, and it's unfortunate that we're in a way looking at that, but at the same time, it's kind of the point of these tune-up games with your traditional SEC FCS team. This is the game that's here specifically to tune your team up. Right. We'll have another one next year, and it'll be late in the season again, right? Because we play Michigan next season at the crib, which that's going to be a very interesting game as well. But you're going to have that, and so because of that, that's something you should be prepared for.
Yeah, this is your NFL preseason game. Like if you're looking for something that's equitable to an NFL preseason game, that's what this is. But even more so because you're way over way more talented than the team that you're going to be playing against.
It's true.
What do we expect to happen? What's our prediction? Keys to the game. Is there an SEC matchup that we're really intrigued by? We'll discuss coming up next here on Locked On Sooners. FanDuel is America's #1 sports book, and right now, new customers can bet $5 and get $150 in bonus bets if you win. The FanDuel Sportsbook app gives you everything you need to place live bets on the NFL all in one place. So when you get a hunch in the middle of the game, you can check out the latest stats, view live play-by-play, and so much more on the same page where you place your bets. Just visit FanDuel.com to join today. Oklahoma sitting at 34.5 as of this recording. The over-under is a reasonable 48.5 as well. So you might get a little bit interest there from my side of things. If you're interested in getting in on the action, go to FanDuel.com. Never waste a hunch and make every moment more with FanDuel, an official sportsbook partner of the NFL. Again, thanks for making Locked On Sooners your first listen every single day. We're part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. Jay, let's talk a little SEC action before we get to our keys and prediction, because there are no top 25 matchups this weekend, but there is an intriguing game. A couple intriguing games, I think. Is there one on the schedule that you're most interested in?
Ole Miss traveling to Fayetteville to play against Arkansas. That's probably the one that jumps out to me the most. Arkansas is done a really good job of playing the quote-unquote spoiler. But I think the big thing out of Arkansas is, for me, in that game, is that Ole Miss has Georgia the next week. And so that's a very good trappy opportunity that can make things a little squirrely for them. That Arkansas is going to go out there, play this as this is their Super Bowl, and then Ole Miss they've struggled offensively this season, even against us. I mean, they got 26, but that's way below the average that they had. When you take out the SEC game, it's way below what they had been scoring. Got an SEC, they barely been. I don't think they've hit 30. They haven't hit 30 in any of their games, and so I'm used to Ole Miss putting up more points, but that one's the one jumped out to me. I'm ready to see what that's going to look like.
Yeah, Arkansas's only losses in SEC player to Ole Miss and LSU. Sorry, no, Texas A&M. They're playing Texas A&M by 4 and to LSU. So it's a really fun matchup. We saw that Ole Miss struggles a little bit with the running quarterback. Taylor Green can move, man, and that's going to be a fun matchup. The one I'm excited about, Texas A&M at South Carolina in prime time on ABC and ESPN+. Dude, if Texas A&M is legit, they should be able to go on the road and beat South Carolina. But as we saw, that South Carolina rush is phenomenal. Those dudes up front along the defensive line can absolutely go. And that's going to be a really, really fun matchup. I think those of you that like trench play and you watch football for trench play, this will be a highlight of your weekend, because Texas A&M's offensive line is really good. South Carolina's defensive line is really good. And can Marcel Reed avoid Kyle Kennard and Dylan Stewart and make plays in the open field and continue to run the ball with effectiveness? That is going to be a really, really fun matchup to watch this weekend.
I saw that Texas A&M is only a 2.5-point favorite in that game.
Crazy to me.
That is the lowest spread that I would have ever expected in that game. I would have never expected that spread to be that low. And when I saw that, I'm like, that feels trappy. It feels like they're trying to get as many people on Texas A&M as possible. So hopefully Texas A&M pulls through, but 2.5 feels really low for a team that's undefeated in the SEC right now on the road as well.
Remember last time this happened, Missouri was a 2.5-point dog going on the road to College Station against Texas A&M.
Yep.
All the money was flying in on Missouri, but that it never really changed, and Texas A&M blew them out. So who knows what's going to happen here, but it's going to be a phenomenal matchup. Give me a key to the game offensively for the Oklahoma Sooners.
Key to the game here is the run game. How do we run against Maine? Of all teams, how does this offensive line open up holes, and what does the run game look like? That's going to tell me everything I need to know about this team for the rest of the season. If we cannot figure out a way to run the ball against Maine, in which Javonte Barnes almost had 100 yards. He had 70-something yards against Ole Miss, and Jackson Arnold, his actual rushing yards was 99, but the net was less because of all the sacks. But you got to be able to run against this team. If you can't do it, then we've got questions.
Yeah, I think they'll run it. I think they'll run it fine. They'll build on it. For me, it's just showing more improvement, finishing drives. You got into the red zone a couple times against Ole Miss and you didn't come away with any points. So get into the red zone, come away with points. Again, I'm not even concerned about the big plays. If you get a big play, great. If you don't, but you drive the ball consistently and you're able to score points consistently like that, that to me is a better sign of a healthy offense than 3 punts and then, hey, we hit a 70-yard touchdown pass, or, 2 plays, 50 yards for a touchdown, or taking over on a short field because the defense gives you a turnover and scoring a touchdown. I want to see consistently this offense be able to take the ball from their 25 and drive the length of the field and come up with points. That's what I want to see in this game. Defensively, Jay, what's the key?
Defensively, turnovers. We need to get back to our old turnover ways. Turnovers and sacks, the 2 things that we start the season off very well with. We need more of those. So my expectation is a very high number of sacks and at least 2 turnovers. As long as we do that, I'll feel super comfortable about how the defense is playing, because I don't care if they get an interception. We should be stripping more balls.
Yeah,
we were doing really good with that all season up until the Texas game. Even though we got an interception in that game, we just disappeared from there. Like that portion of the game that we had, it just gone. It just disintegrated, right? We did it against Auburn. That's how we won the game. We need more of those, because that's the thing that keeps the defense with confidence, is being able to just take the ball away at will. We need to do more of that. I mean, we did a lot of that against Tennessee. That was but anyway, that we need to do more of that, John. I need to see that, and I need to see more sacks. If we can get those sacks out there, I think I'll be satisfied. What about you?
Yeah, defensive splash plays are huge for building confidence and giving them just more energy and more life, right? Anytime that they can either get a tackle for loss that forces a 4th down, or come up with a sack that forces a punt, huge. Again, for me, man, I'm just coming at this simple-minded, I think, this week, and it's no coverage bust. I just want to see assignment sound football from start to finish. If they play assignment sound football, they can hang with any team in the nation. Obviously, they're going to be way more talented than Maine. They should be able to impose their will defensively. But I just want to see assignment sound, because that's the thing that's really hurt them, whether it was the Texas game, the Ole Miss game, the South Carolina game. That's what's hurt them in their 3-game losing streak, is just losing guys in coverage busts, not being assignment sound in the run game, and getting gashed because of it, or allowing a big play because of it. You play assignment sound football, and you can build on that moving forward. You can say, hey, look at the way we played this scheme. Everybody was doing their job. Everybody was in the right place. We shut it down. When we aren't doing our job, when one guy's getting out of place, then we're giving up a big play. You can teach tape that, and you can build on that moving forward. So that's what I want to see out of this team. What are you giving us for a score prediction?
Over under set at what? The total was what? 45 and a half?
I think maybe it was 45 and a half. I might have misspoke, but I thought it was 48.
It could be 48. You may actually be right. I think it is 48. That was where my brain went. I wasn't sure. I couldn't remember if it was 45 or 48. Let's see. It's locked out. 45 and a half. I was right. Yay.
You're right.
45 and a half. 50-0. I think we run up score.
Yeah, this feels very much like the Temple game, maybe worse. I think you have a chance to go and put up some big numbers. And listen, you've already used Michael Hawkins' redshirt year. Just let him play some more. Give Jackson Arnold a half to go do his thing, and then come out of halftime, do the halftime adjustment thing, come out, get a series in the 3rd quarter or 2, and then let Michael Hawkins have some time in the 3rd quarter, 4th quarter to finish the game out. And that's kind of what I'm thinking. I'm thinking something like 66-3, maybe a field goal, but that's just because I don't want to put the shutout jinx on the team. That's just kind of where I fall on that one. But I think Oklahoma has a romp. I think things come together. The good stuff they did in the first half against Ole Miss, they build on that. And again, they had some good moments towards the end of that game against Ole Miss. It's just the pass protection just absolutely failed them. Remember, they drove into the red zone with about 5 minutes left to play. And then the pass protection just completely broke down, and they had no answer at that point. So they were able to get the ball where they needed to, just couldn't finish the drive. So I'm expecting them to finish drives consistently, regularly, and create a few big plays. And I might even expect a defensive touchdown in this game off a strip sack from a guy like R. Mason Thomas, and then somebody picks it up and rumbles for a touchdown.
Spicy.
Yeah, let's get spicy. This might be the only time we get a chance to get spicy for the rest of the season. So that's going to do it for today's episode of Locked On Sooners. Thanks so much for tuning in, being a part of the show. Subscribe to the show wherever you get your podcasts. We're free and available on all podcast platforms and on YouTube. So hit that subscribe button and that notification bell to let you know when new episodes drop. Follow Jay on Twitter at Unfair Sports. Check out his channel, Unfair Sports, over on YouTube as well. Follow me at John9Williams. The show is at Locked On Sooners on all the social media platforms. You can also read my work covering the Sooners over at SoonersWire.com. But until next time, where we'll break down what happened Oklahoma versus Maine on Saturday in our live show. Make sure you're tuned in for that. He's Jay Smith. I'm John Williams. Boomer
Sooner. All right.